Welcome to today's episode. We have an exciting topic lined up about how AI, specifically large language models, is revolutionizing causal inference in research. Joining us is Dr. Emily Carter, an expert in econometrics and AI applications. Emily, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to discuss this fascinating intersection of AI and econometrics.
Let's start with the basics. Why are instrumental variables so crucial for causal inference?
Great question. Instrumental variables, or IVs, are essential because they help us determine causal relationships in situations where simple correlation isn't enough. Imagine you're trying to figure out if education causes higher earnings. Just looking at the data might be misleading because other factors, like family background, could influence both. IVs help us isolate the causal effect by acting as a stand-in that affects education but not earnings directly.
That sounds really useful, but I hear finding valid IVs is quite challenging. Why is that?
It is indeed challenging. The crux of the problem lies in the exclusion restrictions. For an IV to be valid, it must affect the outcome only through the treatment, not directly. This is hard to test and often relies on theoretical justification. Researchers typically use a lot of creativity and domain knowledge to identify potential IVs, but it's a heuristic process.
So, how can large language models help with this?
LLMs can be a game changer here. They can mimic human researchers' reasoning, exploring vast search spaces quickly and efficiently. By processing large amounts of text and data, they can identify potential IVs that researchers might miss. It's like having an assistant that never tires and can sift through endless possibilities.
That sounds promising. Can you share some key findings from using LLMs in this way?
Absolutely. We've found that LLMs can systematically search for and justify potential IVs, speeding up the discovery process. By using multi-step and role-playing prompts, we guide the models to think like economic agents, breaking down complex reasoning into manageable parts. This structured approach helps in identifying and vetting candidate IVs more effectively.
Interesting. What are these multi-step and role-playing prompts?
Multi-step prompting involves breaking down the reasoning process into smaller sequential tasks. For example, first asking the model to identify variables related to education, then exploring their indirect effects on earnings. Role-playing prompts, on the other hand, involve the model taking on the perspective of different stakeholders, like policymakers or educators, to understand decision-making processes. This helps in aligning the search with real-world dynamics.
That's a clever approach. But what about the limitations? How do you overcome them?
While LLMs can generate a list of candidate IVs, the challenge remains in validating them. We can use statistical tests like over-identifying restrictions to assess their validity. The beauty of LLMs is that they increase the pool of candidates, enhancing the likelihood of finding valid ones. It's a complementary tool to traditional methods, not a replacement.
What broader implications does this have for research?
The implications are vast. Beyond IVs, AI can aid in other causal inference methods, like regression and difference in differences. By providing a systematic way to explore assumptions and exogeneity, AI can transform empirical research, making it more robust and comprehensive.
That's exciting. Before we wrap up, what future directions do you see for this field?
I see a future where AI becomes an integral part of the research toolkit, not just for econometrics but across disciplines. As models improve, they'll offer even more nuanced insights, helping us tackle complex questions with greater precision. Collaboration between AI experts and domain specialists will be key to unlocking this potential.
Thank you, Emily, for sharing your insights. It's been a fascinating conversation.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to discuss these exciting developments.